Hello, it's Niksha at One Tao Kung Fu Academy by and under Sifu John Kogan. This is my Module 6 video essay submission on the workshop topic of letting go, or as I've subtitled it, Gratitude and the Living Flow of Qi, a Wing Chun perspective. At first glance, letting go may sound passive, like surrender or even loss. In the context of Wing Chun and broader spiritual traditions, letting go is neither weakness nor withdrawal. It is refinement. It is the deliberate release of excess of tension, fear, ego, resistance of any kind, so that something more fundamental can emerge. Something like clarity, responsiveness, and quiet strength. When paired with gratitude, letting go becomes not just a technique, but a way of living, as Kung Fu should be. In Wing Chun or Wing Chun or Wing Tsun, letting go begins physically. The practitioner quickly discovers that force against force leads to rigidity and inefficiency. Instead, one is trained to relax, to yield without collapsing, and to respond rather than react. Through forms like Sionim Tao and practices like Chi Sao, the body learns to release any unnecessary effort. Master Ip Man embodied this principle with striking simplicity. His movement was light, almost effortless. He demonstrated that the true skill lies not in adding more, but in removing what is unnecessary. Letting go in his teaching meant dropping tension so that structure could function naturally. One of his most prominent students, the father of our Wing Chun lineage, Chu Shang Tin, the king of Sionim Tao, went even deeper. Describing the process of letting go as allowing the mind itself to soften. When intention is no longer forced, the body organizes spontaneously. This spontaneous organization of the body is not collapse. It is alignment without strain. The practitioner feels it internally as a subtle release, followed by a sense of connection and flow. In Wing Chun, we deal with the flow all the time. Feel it to heal it. The internal gateway. The phrase "feel it to heal it" resonates strongly with Wing Chun's internal dimension. Before one can let go, one must first become aware, of course. Tension that is unconscious cannot be released. In stillness practice, sensation arises as tightness in the shoulders, holding the breath, a subtle anxiety in movement. Rather than supporting these, the practitioner observes, and this is when meditation and martial art converge, get together. By feeling fully, without judgment, this anxious tension begins to dissolve. This mirrors principles found in contemplative traditions. Buddha taught that suffering arises from attachment and aversion. Liberation comes through mindful awareness. Jesus Christ spoke of surrender. Not my will, but thine. Pointing toward release of egoic control. Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, advised action without attachment to results. So, each in their own language describes the same internal movement. Feel, allow, and release. Gratitude transforms letting go from deprivation into fullness. Without gratitude, release can feel like loss. With gratitude, it becomes acceptance. In practice, Gratitude softens resistance. When a Wing Chun practitioner meets force in Chi Sao, tension often arises from fear or ego, which is basically the same. The need to win, to dominate, to prove. Gratitude shifts the mindset. The partner is no longer an opponent, but a teacher or a mirror. Each moment of imbalance becomes an opportunity to refine awareness. This attitude aligns with the deeper ethos of martial arts as a path of self-cultivation. Gratitude stabilizes the mind, allowing Qi to settle. And when the mind is calm and appreciative, energy flows more freely. What is gasping or resistant whatever, and when it is gasping or resistant, the energy as a pure energy or embodied in a body becomes stuck. In traditional terms, letting go directly affects Qi, our life force. When tension accumulates, Qi is said to stagnate or rise improperly. The shoulders lift, the breath shortens, the body disconnects. Letting go allows Qi to sink, circulate, and structurally unify the body. And not just structurally, energetically as well. From a modern perspective, this can be understood as relaxation of the nervous system, improved structural alignment, and efficient transfer of force through the body. And when I say force, if you watched my previous videos, I mean power. Difference between force and power is explained in the works of Dr. David Hawkins. Power is calibrated living force or living virtue, calibrated from 200 upwards, which is supportive of life, and the force is calibrated to less than 200 and downward, which is anti-life. Not supportive, but rather destructive. Sifu John Kogan emphasizes this embodied understanding. Letting go is not abstract. It is felt as weight settling, breath deepening, and movement becomes effortless, as we always accentuate. The practitioner does not push Qi, Rather, Qi expresses itself when obstruction is removed. As always, I'm gonna add a little dash of Bruce Lee, as he is one of the most prominent disciples of, among other disciplines, Wing Chun. That's his first discipline. So he carried the principle of letting go beyond technique into philosophy. He famously urged practitioners to absorb what is useful and discard what is not. For him, letting go included releasing rigid adherence to style, dropping unnecessary complexity, letting go of the ego's need for identity. He compared the ideal state to water, formless yet powerful. Water does not resist, it adapts, flows, and overcomes. This is letting go in motion. That's why we call it flow, because water flows. The Shaolin Monastery provides an earlier context for these ideas. There, martial training was inseparable from Zen practice. Letting go was cultivated through meditation, breathwork, and repetitive movement. The practitioner learned to release attachment to thought, to outcome, even to the self-image of being a fighter. In doing so, action became immediate and unburdened. This tradition reminds us that letting go is not a modern self-help concept. It is an ancient discipline requiring patience and honesty. Letting go is a way of being. Ultimately, letting go extends beyond training. It becomes a way of being in daily life. That's why we do it. We do not separate training from everyday life. These are all manifestations and elements of one. Whatever the one may be, life, one Tao style, one person, one community, one world, all manifestations of one. Being it training, nutrition, rest, connection, it's all manifestation of one life. As a way of being in daily life, letting go of the need to control every outcome, letting go of resentment through gratitude, and letting go of self-judgment by allowing experience. In this state, one does not become passive, as we already mentioned. On the contrary, responsiveness increases. Just as in Wing Chun, where releasing tension leads to faster, more precise action, in life, letting go creates clarity and presence. In which stillness, sensitivity, and spirit are all integrated. Across traditions and teachers, a unified insight emerges in all of their teachings. For example, Ip Man shows letting go through simplicity of movement. Chu Shong Tin, his pupil, reveals its power through internal release and mind intention. Bruce Lee expresses it as a freedom from limitation. Spiritual figures like Buddha, Christ, Krishna frame it as liberation from attachment. And Sifu John Kogan grounds it in lived bodily experience. Together, they point toward a state when effort becomes less effortless, action becomes natural, and awareness becomes continuous. To conclude, letting go is not an end point, but a continuous process. Each moment presents something to release. Tension in the body, resistance in the mind, or attachment in the heart. Through awareness, feel it to heal it. Through gratitude and through disciplined practice, the practitioner gradually returns to a more natural state, or closer to natural state. In Wing Chun, this state is felt as released and relaxed readiness. In spiritual traditions, it is known as peace, and in both, it is the same movement, releasing what is unnecessary so that life, chi, awareness, presence can flow without obstruction. To let go, then, is not to lose anything essential. It is to uncover it. Thank you for your time and your presence.